down in the dirt.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
No
Bruce.
offense, Mark, but that was like dealing with my dad. He's about 85.
Oh dear. So can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfect. Yeah, I can
Brilliant.
hear you. I can see you. Absolute happy days. Beautiful.
Fabulous.
Right. I think after that, we deserve a drink, mate. So, Slan, cheers to your health.
Sludge it.
Guinness, obviously.
Absolutely. There is other alcohol here, but my wife has. We've got a small selection here.
No worries. I'm on the brew dog, but you know that's just to say goodbye because I hear they're up for sale now. So
Really?
yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently they're I think they're going under or something, but they're up for sale anyway.
Wow.
Never mind. Right. So how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Now? I've been kind of very, very nervous.
We are
about
going,
this.
by the way. I am recording. We are going.
Yeah. And no, I've been very nervous about this and kind of excited pretty much all day.
What are you nervous
stupidly
for?
so. Well, I have watched a lot of your podcasts in the past, but over the past, basically since Chris from 44 Teeth did his podcast, I've been watching all of them.
Right.
So to try and give me some bit of a feel of what is going on, and I was actually talking to Demon Rides. Is it Damon?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of pinged him a couple of messages, and I've been reaching out because I've got quite a good connection with KTM, my local KTM dealer, and I said if he needs any help, just let me know. More than happy to, help him. And so I've got a bit of imposter syndrome going on. So
Don't be daft.
Yeah,
Don't be
a
daft.
large case of imposter syndrome going on. But,
Dude, we know each other. Christ, we've met, we've spoken loads, and you've been around my house for God's sake. Don't worry about it. Just think of it like we're just having a chat. That's all it is, pal. There's nothing more to it. It's just us having a chat. And now I've introduced you to the 21st century, and you can do this on your computer. Amazing.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks.
No problems.
I knew you could rely on you.
Folks, welcome back to Bru Time. This is Murt Walsh. How are you? Knocking back his boots.
I'm really good now. Yeah.
Good man. Deep breaths. You'll be all good. So you've got a YouTube channel, The Mad Leprechaun. Obviously, you're Irish, but where does the name come from?
So, having looked at people like yourself, Richie Vida, Michelin Flyer, and people like that, I would never consider myself cool. And you all had like the TeapotOne, Michelin Flyer. There was all these kind of cool names in my mind. I think they're all quite cool names. So I thought, I don't really know if I can kind of come up with a cool name for me. So I thought I'll go slightly ironic. So I went for Mad Leprechaun. I am slightly mad, as you know.
But you're
as
about 9
we're all
foot
about,
tall.
So I went slightly ironic. As Dave Perry will tell you from Really Good TV, his Irish accent is better than mine. So I wanted to try and introduce some Irish into the name. So I went Leprechaun, So yeah, Dave Perry will tell you that he's a better Irish accent than me.
Fair enough. So what got you into bikes then? How's that all come about?
I guess my uncle Tom Mason, would have been a good and a bad influence on me as a kid. One of those, my uncle Tom had a twinkle in his eye, and my wife would tell you, he wasn't a bad. Well, he was and he wasn't a good influence, if you know what I mean. But he had a motorbike, and then my brother was always very, very keen on motorbikes, and not far from where we grew up on the Curragh. So to put the Curragh is somewhere where I grew up. So to give people an odd idea of what the Curragh is, think of Salisbury Plain. So the Irish Army did an awful lot of stuff on the Curragh, a bit like the British Army do with Salisbury Plain. But you could literally, where my house was, you could walk across the road and you were onto the Curragh. It was just open land. And they say on the Curragh that there's 3 S's: sheep shit, and soldiers. Right. So there's the 3 S's of the Curragh. So yeah, they had the motocross there once a year. And if you had a motorbike and you didn't have a license, then you weren't supposed to, but you could ride across the Curragh. Mm-hmm. And so before I ever had a license for a motorbike, we used to take motocross bikes across the Curragh, and you learn how to ride and learn how to fall off and do stupid things.
What sort of age were you then?
Oh, what age was I? Probably
32,
12,
33?
No, probably about 12 or 14. I probably slung myself, it's like 12 or 14, something like that. I mean, I was racing motocross when I was 16. And when I was 15, actually. And then Ireland wasn't a very kind of well-to-do country back in the 80s. And I was told, basically, you're getting on a big boat and you're going over there. So that 1987, I came over to England. That was the end of that.
Wow, did you?
Yep.
Blimey.
So, yeah, my sister lived in London, and she trained to be a nurse in Whipps Cross Hospital. And I left school, and it was either go into the army or go on the dole. And neither option. My mother was not entertaining either option. So she sent me to Bolton Street in Dublin to be a panel beater sprayer and try and get a trade. And I got some experience, but within a very, very short space of time, basically there isn't any work. And the company where I was working kind of went, we can't afford to keep you. So yeah, my mum and my sister basically spoke to one another, letters. There was none of this internet malarkey back then. And in our house, there nearly wasn't tonight. Anyway, so yeah, there was letters kind of going back and forward. And obviously they kind of organised between themselves that that Murt is getting on a ship and he's going over to basically go for an interview. So I didn't have an awful lot of choice in the matter. And if you speak to my mum now, she kind of regrets. But I don't. I don't regret coming to England at all. And England has been a very, very good country to me. I was as green as grass when I left Ireland. And a 17-year-old in Ireland and a 17-year-old from London back then were 2 very, very different kids. There was an awful lot more in London for a 17-year-old, and I guess you were exposed to an awful lot more. So, I mean, I got off the boat, I hadn't got a clue. I hadn't got a clue. But I soon learned.
So what did you come over here to do then?
So my sister and my mum basically kind of conspired, and there was jobs working in Whipps Cross as hospital porter. So I started off working in Whipps Cross, doing general hospital portering jobs. So picking up things for the lab, picking up patients, moving dinner trolleys. I did various portering jobs. So I started off in general, doing all of that. And then I went to casualty, which was interesting. I don't really want to go back down the full road of everything I got to see and deal with in casualty, but you can probably imagine.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't until on the recent years when I was working nights and people used to show me these daft and stupid things on WhatsApp, and you'd open it and go, oh, okay, it's someone dying. And it just like kind of stopped showing me that. Number one, it's not funny. I don't really like it. But what it was doing it was triggering everything that I'd forgotten about the hospital. So I was remembering stuff that I'd packed away and left way behind me. And I went, just don't, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's weird how you build up a tolerance for blood, guts, death, life, stuff. And even as a 17, 18-year-old kind of young man, I was able to kind of deal with that at the time. But ask me to be exposed to that now, it's thankfully the tolerance is, Yeah.
It's weird though, because I think a lot of people who've never been exposed to any of this for real, like in real life. Yeah. But people have become very blasé about it on social media, haven't they? Like, it's all this footage from, Ukraine, Russia war, and just conflicts all around the world. It's all there on your phone now. And people, as you said, people are sat there in their living rooms just watching people get blown up by drones and all this horrific stuff happening. People are just like, oh, well, okay, move on, next thing.
The thing is, there's so many computer games that are like that. And then I don't think people can separate, like you said, the real world and the computer world. And then there's so much stuff that's done by AI. AI, and I know you quite like AI, but there's some AI, and you just go, that's not real. That's just, so
but you can, no matter how good it is at the moment. I mean, I know it's going to get a lot better, and it'll reach a stage where it's impossible to decipher fake from real. But you can still tell at the moment. You can still tell.
Here is I'm going to lift the tone slightly here. So occasionally my wife gets a thing on her phone. It's a montage for some reason of my face,
right.
with her, and in that montage, guess who's in it?
Oh,
you
me?
are.
Oh God, was it me? Was it me? That's AI.
Yeah. So you exactly. You met us down at XL, and she still has that photograph, and so the AI on her phone thinks that you are me. So thankfully, AI hasn't got that good just yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
because my beard's clearly a lot smaller. Yeah,
and I'm about 3 foot shorter and about 9 foot wider. So, folks, we've got a new sponsor for the podcast, and that is Super Shield Auto. Now, Super Shield Automotive provide the very best service in detailing, paint correction, and ceramic coating, your pride and joy. They can also supply and fit products from many suppliers such as Chiggy, Akropovich, Hex, Denali, Visa, and many more. Get in touch for details, and don't forget to mention TeapotOne for a discount. So head to their website, which is just supershieldauto.co.uk. You'll be able to see there they do discounts for lots of those products, and loads more coming online as well. So make sure you check that out. And if you love being around bikes and cars, then they're currently looking for someone to join them full time. Full training's given, and a van is provided with a competitive salary. Get in touch at info@supershieldauto.co.uk for more details. Folks, if you've seen any of my bike wash or ceramic coating vids on the main TeapotOne channel, that's my mate Pete from Super Shield Auto. He owns the whole company. You can see from his work, he's a top man. If you fancy getting involved in that line of work, he is your man. Check that out. And a massive thanks to Super Shield Automotive for sponsoring the podcast. So, from coming across from Ireland then until you started your YouTube channel, there's a chunk of time there. So, what were you doing with bikes? Were you still kicking about on bikes back then, or did they take a back seat?
Within 6 months of me landing on these fair shores, I'd passed me motorbike test. Mm-hmm. I was coming down Black Horse Road on my RD 125. Oh, and by the way, I am Irish, and I do pronounce that letter wrong. It's "aw," not "or." But I'm Irish, so if I do say the letter,
wait, what letter? What letter?
Romeo, or.
R. Oh, I thought you. Yeah, it sounded like R to me.
Okay. See, a lot of people kind of go, why are you saying or? But it's just the Irish. Anyway, so I had an RD 125 and I come down Black Horse Road. No mirrors, big expansion pipe. I'm on the pipe, L plates on the back. And I've kind of looked over my shoulder, and it was my first experience of meeting a police constable, and he wasn't best pleased. Yeah. And he said, put some mirrors on your bike and slow down. Oh, by the way, and he was just about there. Where do you work? Whips Cross Hospital. Oh, whereabouts? In casualty. And he put his thing away and he went, right, stop being a dick.
Yeah. Good old days, mate. Good old days.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But,
can't do that anymore, sadly. But yeah, no. Good old days.
Yeah.
So, what made you start? I know you said it was the likes of myself, Richie, TMF, and that. They made you. Made you start
my YouTube channel.
Yeah. What happened in life that made you go, I want to do that? I want to start up a channel.
So I was in a band first. So I've always been. My uncle Tom, I mentioned him right at the start, and I am, and I'm going to have to warn you, I am like trying to follow a marble down a staircase sometimes. So it's you've got to follow the marble, baby. Okay.
You're in good company.
So yeah, my uncle Tom was always very into photography. He was a really good photographer, and cine cameras. Now, not the things that we use, but cine cameras, and so that kind of was intrigued my interest in photography. Now, I love photography, but I've never been particularly good at it. I'm better with video cameras. So I actually bought myself a Sony Handycam. Do you remember them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I used to do motor vlogs with a Handycam, and I've still got some of my original footage, where I rode my 1150 GS from home over to Dingle in Ireland, and back again, and I basically kind of edited myself on the fly. So I'd kind of do a little piece to camera, and then and kind of go, oh, that's and record over it, and kind of just keep it all bunched together. But in recent years, I actually found it, digitized it, and then just compressed it a little bit more, and thought that was me motovlogging back then.
Have you put that up? Is that on your channel?
It's not on my channel, but maybe I should put it up there
as
a throwback. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Get it up there.
Yeah. But it's mad, isn't it? But so yeah, my uncle was he definitely did inspire me, very, very much so. I never did anything, but I was inspired to do something. So when money and finances allowed it, I kind of went, right, I got myself an SLR camera and tried to take good photographs, failed miserably. I've had a lot of different kind of stills cameras. But yeah, and then I got very, very much into GoPros and stuff like that. I worked with a guy called Andy Brown and another guy called Ryan Anderson, and I had my GoPro probably a bit like the one you had when you did the round the world trip.
The first one, 1 and 2.
I think it was 1 or 2, something like that. And I went down to Brands Hatch and I stuck that on his sidecar, and like no one else had GoPros much stuck on sidecars back then. And kind of it was almost my introduction to the sidecar world. But I'm sure we'll get onto them in a minute.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's going to take us a while, but folks, we're going to be covering a massive sort of challenge ride that Murt and another chap, Andy Mully, that they're undertaking for charity. We will be getting to that, but I want a bit of a backlog to Murt's story first. So yeah, sidecars, because when we met, you were doing a load of stuff with sidecar teams, racing teams.
Oh, put the handbrake on there, Bruce. When we met, I sent you a photograph with a gauntlet. And I mean, most people would say a gauntlet on the ground is a challenge, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, that was right. That was right.
Oh, you think I forgot?
That went on for years, didn't it?
I know it did, because, and unfortunately, what happened in the middle of all of that, me kind of gently taking the PO of Bruce, because I invited Bruce to come up here, and it was a ploy to get you to come up this way and sling your leg over his sidecar and spend a day together making a video. COVID happened, right. Basically, and in the meantime,
the lengths people will go to. Eh?
Yeah, I know.
I did
actually, but you have actually ridden a sidecar, so maybe I should just go. Oh well,
That'd still be a giggle. What kind of sidecar have you got again?
I don't. I sold it. It's gone.
That's that.
So I don't. You normally put a logo down the bottom here, don't you?
Yes.
So my old logo had a sidecar, which was drawn by Rufus Crookwell. So Cisco's Tattoos. He designed the Mad Leprechaun. But recently it's been updated, so now it's a 1250 without a sidecar, which my wife wasn't very pleased about. It's the end. It's the end of an era. So yeah, I've got 3 vertebrae that are kind of knackered, discs that are knackered in my lower back, and obviously, if you're driving a sidecar, because it's only got one drive wheel, effectively at 70 miles per hour, it's trying to pull you slightly left, not a lot, but slightly left. Slightly left the whole time. So you're always turning slightly right. So after a while, your back does feel very, very tired. And unfortunately, I just couldn't do it anymore. I tried.
It was a lot more physical than I ever thought it would be when I ride in the sidecars. I went up to do the thing with the sidecar guys up north, and it was. I enjoyed it, I loved it, but it was a lot more physical and totally different, alien to like a two-wheel bike. It's nothing like a two-wheel bike.
Everybody that goes Wallace and Gromit, Georgia Mildred, blah blah blah, all that old chisel. If anybody ever said Wallace and Gromit just before they got into the sidecar, they were in for a shit ride.
So this podcast is powered by Conqueror's Motorcycle Apparel, a biker's clothing shop built by bikers, run by bikers, for people who actually ride. No corporate nonsense, no guessing games, just riders who know their kit inside and out. Walk through the door or jump online and you'll get nothing but 5-star service. The kind where someone actually listens, knows the gear, and won't flog you rubbish just to make a sale. For an independent shop, the range punches well above its weight: helmets, riding gear, casual wear, and the bits you didn't know you needed until a proper biker pointed them out. And if you're shopping online, here's the kicker: use Fisters10, yes, Fisters10, at checkout for 10% off, because good gear should come with a bit of respect. Conqueror's Motorcycle Apparel, built by bikers, backing bikers. You can check out the website at conquerorsapparel.co.uk, or if you're down near St Leonard's on the south coast of England, pop along to the shop, stick your head in and say hello. I'll tell you what, I have no idea how those folk race sidecars, do the speeds that they're doing. I've got no idea how they do it in a sidecar.
Have you ever got into one? It's hard work.
What, a race one?
No, get into so there's a guy called Lee Crawford, and Lee is actually taller than me, and he podiumed at the TT last year, and Lee is taller than me. So the only sidecar in the F2 paddock is Lee's sidecar. Is the only one that I'm able to physically get into, and I got into it, and I could not wait to get out of it. And your legs are kind of behind you. Your stomach, you're basically lying on your stomach. And I felt like an awful lot of weight bearing kind of on my pelvis, and instantly my back just felt, I just want to get out. It's horrible. Yeah. So how they're able to race for the length of time around the TT course in one of those, I have no idea.
You're welcome to that. Forget that.
Yeah, totally.
Forget that.
Yeah. But If I didn't already respect them, and I did, and I still do, just I couldn't.
So what got you into sidecars then?
So going back to when I was living in Ireland, we used to go to Kilcullen, which was a local town. I used to hang out with some of my buddies. We all had motorbikes, like kind of Honda 90s and whatever. So I'd ride into Kilcullen, and we should just dick around. But there was a guy called Paddy Bean, and Paddy Bean had a Kawasaki Z1 with a sidecar on it. And,
he sounds like he would have with that name. He sounds like he's going to have something like that.
And but he had a Solo and he had a sidecar, and he used to go off like camping. He'd go to the Isle of Man. It was like, he was this legend that would kind of go to the Isle of Man. That was the Isle of Dreams. But so I was quite friendly with his sister. So she wasn't my girlfriend, but I was quite friendly with her. And so I ended up kind of being quite friendly with Paddy. And I was intrigued by this odd thing. And he said, I'll take you for a spin in the sidecar. So I got into the sidecar and he took me for a spin. It was dark and it was like the little kind of edge of this thing, a little roof on it, and it's flapping in the breeze. But it didn't put me off. And he said, well, you can't drive it. He said, if you want to drive one, you've got to buy your own. And years later, I was in England and I was talking to a pal of mine, and he said, oh, Headingham sidecars, they're made just up the road from here, I was like, okay. So I went over there with my ex-police bike, believe it or not, R80 Stroke 7, and I said, could you put a sidecar on this? They said, you put a sidecar on it, mate, no problems at all. And then they told me the price of them, and I nearly fell over. I went, I can't afford that. So they had the sidecar that I bought was a thing called an ETH, which is the same sidecar that I had that I was going to put you in. And they're very, very light. They're very practical, very easy to get in and out of. But if you're in them, you're exposed very much to the elements. You're not kind of in them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a sidecar I had on my R80 Stroke 7. And I rode that everywhere until my daughter came into the world. And I went, it's got to go then.
Yeah.
And then Sally and I got together, and she said, never in a million years will you ever see me in a sidecar. Ever. And
good girl, Sally. Good girl.
So I stayed in the sidecar club because they're just nice people, and we went to a few rallies and bits and pieces. And we went to a day meet, and there was a sidecar there, XJR 1300 with a Headingham single-seater attached, and it was for sale sign on it. And Sal turned to me and she said, we could buy that. And I said, what have you done with my wife?
Yeah.
And we did. So thankfully, I jumped onto it, and I could remember how to ride them because it'd been a few years since I'd ridden one. And I pulled over at the side of the road. I didn't want to go straight back to the guy who was selling it. And I said, what do you think? And she went, I love it. She went, I absolutely love it. So, yeah, we went to the Isle of Man. We went to Germany. We went to quite a few different places in various different sidecars. We had 3 different sidecars. I actually decided that the XJR was wrong for me, sold it, and there was a sidecar outfit it was in Scotland somewhere, and I can't remember where. But I got onto an airplane in Docklands and flew up to Scotland in all of my bike clubber and rode it back. It was kind of horrible because no one in the sidecar.
What, Scotland or the sidecar?
The sidecar. It was my first ever experience going to Scotland. But yeah. So yeah, I had that sidecar a very, very short space of time, and unfortunately I had to sell that one as well. But and we ended up with an 1150 with an ETH, and we had that the longest, and we loved it. Mm-hmm. And that is the old Mad Leprechaun logo. That is an 1150 with an ETH on it.
Gotcha. And then what? Was it your bad back that caused you to sort of? That was it with the sidecars. So what got you into the racing side of it then? Because you were doing a lot of filming for the race teams. Is that right? Yeah. So YouTube, obviously, TMF and all of you guys were very me wanting to. I wanted to create stuff, but didn't really know what I wanted to create. And I had an idea of trying to do some sort of race video because I used to race a little bit in Ireland. I thought maybe if I go to a race paddock, that could be good. Do some work with a race team. So a friend of mine called Harry Payne, who I've mentioned to you in the past, his dad introduced me to Harry and said, well, they're down at Brands Hatch and they're going to be racing F2. So I knew of F1. I didn't really know an awful lot about F2. But if you're in the F2 paddock, you are going to race or potentially race in the Isle of Man. F1 is for short circuits, good short circuits. They're called long bikes. Same engine, effectively, 600cc. And the F2 is a shorter bike, but it's much more robust. And it's built especially for the Isle of Man. Wow. So I worked a little bit alongside Harry, and Harry went on to become world champion. He left the F2 paddock. So he left the F2 paddock, and I was a little bit like, what am I going to do? I've done lots of work with Harry and Mark over the last year, and I was doing lots of content with the F2 paddock, but really just with Harry, just with one team. It wasn't really until my second year in the paddock that I kind of branched out and went with other teams. So 2021, I say I was just in one awning. And if I'm honest, even Harry would tell you to this day, he was very, very hard on me. Where if you look at some short, snappy little videos that a race team will put out, Harry wanted that. But I'm literally learning how to edit. And like, right. I would put something in front of Harry and he'd go, oh shit. Okay. And you know what? For a whole year I took it. But my equipment improved, I improved, and I think by the end of the year I was less shit. But he did actually apologize after, and kind of he knew what he wanted, and I think if Harry wanted to be an editor, I think he probably would have made a really good editor and a very, very good videographer. But Harry's focus was more on the racing and how I portrayed him and his racing. But hey, he was a hard taskmaster, but I was willing to kind of take an amount of it, so it's all good. So what did you learn then? What did you learn, do you think, in terms of A, yourself, and B, videography and editing from your time doing that?
Right. If you were ever to have a conversation with me, I would probably use 15 words where most people will use 3. So unfortunately, my whole way of thinking is a lot bigger. Well, not a lot bigger. It's just, I do tell a yarn. I'm Irish. We kind of waffle on. But editing, when you're doing shorts, they have to be shorter. They have to be snappier. Find a way of telling a story in 60 seconds or less. It's like, what? You want me to do a weekend? Yeah. Well, I learned, and I really did learn, and that's what he wanted. But saying it's shit wasn't the way to do it. But I did learn, and I got a lot more creative. I have to say, I have worked with other teams since, and I think if you release the leash and just let me kind of go and do my own thing, I guess because I know my way around the paddock, I know my way when not to get involved. Because sometimes if they're changing an engine, don't stick a camera in their face. The tension's high, don't get in their way, stand back and just stay out of the way. But then there is other times where you can stick a camera in their face or you can get in the way, and it's completely acceptable, you know. But like that, it's they have to learn to trust you, and vice versa. You're working very, very much alongside, and you can portray people in a very, very bad light if you want to. And they were kind of skeptical of, who is this guy, and is his intentions good? And thankfully, the sidecar world is not a sidecar world; it's a sidecar family. And once you are entered into the sidecar family, it's I feel like I'm part of the sidecar family, which is quite nice. Going back to like when my brother was reading motorcycle news, and you say what got me into bikes. The only thing that we didn't have like all of the channels and YouTube and everything else. We had the motorcycle news. So we got the motorcycle news. Well, my brother got the motorcycle news every week. And when my brother wasn't watching, I'd steal his motorcycle news and have a little bit of a flick through it. And on the front cover of the motorcycle news, I think it's either 3 or 4 years in a row, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt. Now, you probably don't know who they are, but they were voted personalities of the year by the motorcycle news public.
All right.
So that's not the sidecar world. That's the motorcycle world voted those two men personalities of the year. Tony Hewitt and Steve Webster were 10 times world champions, F1 sidecar.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know why they're not mentioned in the motorcycle news anymore?
No idea.
Dorna. So I actually interviewed Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt.
Careful, they'll be listening.
So I interviewed
Dorna,
Steve
get everywhere.
Okay. Well, I interviewed them, Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt, and when towards the end of their career, basically, the MotoGP was took over by Dorna, and they said to all of the media, TV, anybody who's going to be interviewing anybody, you don't interview them, and if you do, you don't come into our paddock. And overnight, sidecar disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's quite tragic, really. That's. But I got to interview my childhood heroes, and I spent quite a few hours chatting to them, and it was rather wonderful. Like here, I can walk through the paddock now, and there's a 10 times world champion, MBE. Will go, all right, Murt.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
How cool is that? Interviewing them, and I had a Sony.
Sorry, mate, you broke there at my end. Are you back? All right, you're back. Yep. You're back.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. Go on. Apologies.
Right.
You sort of froze at my end.
Okay. So yeah, it was the Dorna thing. So yeah, I was interviewing Steve Webster and Tony Hewitt, and I had a Sony digital camera, and I put it on my tripod, mic'd them all up, I've got all my questions, and I was probably a good way into an hour's interview, and Tony Hewitt looked straight at the camera and he went, "The red light's not flashing."
Oh.
Right? What do you mean the red light's not? Oh, the red light's not flashing.
Yeah,
so I've looked at my camera. I'm indoors. There's PowerPoints. I could have plugged it in. I relied on the battery, and because it shut down, it didn't shut the file. I actually got onto you at one point and said, "Is there any way I can save that file?" I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Test them to their who they are and what they are. They could have gone, "Well, do you know what, you amateur, we're out of here."
You've had your chance, yeah.
And they went, "Well, just do it again."
Everyone does it, man. It happens to everybody.
But just how nice was that? How nice was that?
Cool.
And they just went, "We'll just do it again." And we did.
When I first started this podcast, we had on my side, on the guest side, a couple of times that sort of stuff happened. Or it just, it was recording, but for whatever reason, it's just on one of our sides, it's just not recorded. And it's like, oh, Christ, we're going to have to do that again. And thankfully people do. So, yeah. Part of life, mate, and it's part of life.
I know.
Can't be perfect all the time, Mark.
No.
So, come on then, let's get on to this challenge ride. What's going on? What is it you're doing?
Well, so I'm not going to point at the map, but there is the map. So
you just did.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and. I have tried to do this with a camera in front of me, and I ended up pointing at the wrong bits. So I guess because you have done the four corners several times, I kind of thought about doing the four corners. And do you know what? I can't actually remember in what order I thought it would be a good idea. Because last time when I came down to speak to you, I did a chat thing at your place. And I said I was tempted to buy another motorbike. And you said to me, "Why would you want another second motorbike for?" Anyway, since then, I've actually bought said motorbike and it's in my garage. And I thought, well, maybe I should do something on it. Maybe I should do the bike up and then do something on it. And other factors came into play to make me think maybe I should do a challenge. I think occasionally in my life I need a challenge, and my wife is very kind of right. Okay, go on then. Bye. There's no good way of saying this, but I've worked for the same company for the past 24 and a bit years, and in the last 2 and a bit years, I've lost 5 of my colleagues, or former colleagues, to mental health related illnesses. And I have to say it like that because I haven't asked for permission to talk about them.
No, fair enough, Paul.
And I don't want to, I don't really want to say how. But it does draw focus on, you think about life and your own life and what I've got in, and yeah, I'm quite grateful. My wife, my family, my biking community, and all of the things that I've got. And I've got a little platform on YouTube, and I do actually feel so grateful that when I do feel down or a bit low, I can turn to one of these avenues and be, picked back up again. And when worst comes to the worst, if I can't express why I feel down or whatever, put my helmet on, go for a ride, and normally that sorts me out. At least it certainly makes me feel a little bit clearer in my head. I do know that when I've felt down in the past, the worst thing about feeling down is not knowing why. I think if you can put your finger on the reason why, you can start to fix the issue. But if you don't know the reason why, it's just a, you know. So sometimes everything is wrong in my world and nothing. And the best thing to cure me or fix me, or at least put me back on an even keel again, is put my helmet on. So hence me wanting to do a long ride. I just think kind of losing certainly two of my former colleagues, I would say pals. They weren't like really close friends, but I would have drank coffee and talked with them on a regular basis, especially one of them, and to lose them in the manner that we kind of lost them has it knocked me for six a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, it just made, I just kind of went, I feel quite grateful that for all of the things that I said a minute ago, that I'm able to do all the things that I can and bounce back the way I do occasionally, because I still do get down, but you know, I thankfully I don't ever get that down that I want to do what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're all well aware of it now, aren't we? It's alarming levels of it, and I think as we all get a little bit older, I think we're all going to be exposed to it, either personally, as in it's something that you're going to go through.
Yep.
Everyone has ups and downs for sure. Or you're going to know somebody that goes through it and ultimately makes that final decision, sadly. I certainly have it my side, and it's a horrible thing to go through. So you're doing this for Mind. Mind charity.
Yep.
Cool. And what is the actual challenge ride that you're doing?
So, Nest Point, and I watched one of your videos where you went to Nest Point and you said it was difficult to find, and you were right. That's why I giggled.
It's a Kazi as well, isn't it? Bear in mind, it's a landmark.
I know. The amount of people I've said I'm going from Nest Point and they go, where?
Yeah.
So yes, basically it's Lowestoft. So I went down there the other weekend and we found it eventually. So Nest Point, Land's End, John O'Groats. I'm going to go down to Hailsham, and all of this is going to be ridden with me is Andy Mully. Andy's going to ride, basically.
Good lad, Andy.
And so I'm going to get down to Hailsham. Andy's going to make sure that I get to Hailsham and go, off you go, my son. And he's going to continue on down to St. David's. So Andy's going to complete the four corners, and the reason I'm going to Hailsham is because I'm going to cross the Isle of Man. Now, I was going to have a T-shirt here and show you why I've decided to do a challenge within a challenge, but I'm going to the Isle of Man. I went to the Isle of Man in 2015, and we had fish and chips at the Craignabar. And I bought that T-shirt that has, the sign, the orange signs that are all the way around the TT course.
Yeah. And the Isle of Man, name plaque things for each corner.
Yeah. So it has on the front of my T-shirt, it has the Craig, the big orange sign for the Craig, which is a downhill sharp right-hander. So I thought, that's a cool T-shirt. I'll have one of them. So I bought Sally one as well. But on the back of it, it's got 4 other circuits. Okay. So it's got the TT circuit, but then it claims that these other circuits were TT circuits as well. I'm thinking, really? I don't know. Anyway, I asked Mr. Google, and sure enough, there was other circuits that were used for the TT. The Clips course was used for the 250 lightweights and sidecars. I can't remember the dates that it was they used them for. And the St. John's was the original TT course.
Oh, wow. Never knew that.
So it was obviously a lot shorter. And then the mountain course became a thing. So the Blount circuit as well is where the Southern 100 happens, and Derby. Now, not Derby on the circuit, the airfield, but there is a road circuit down at Derby. So I'm going to ride all 5 of the former motorcycling circuits in a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's my challenge with it in a challenge. If you're going to the Isle of Man, you might as well, mightn't you?
Yeah, why not? Tick it all off.
And then the day out, so I'm going to spend basically 2 nights on the Isle of Man. One of those days is going to be riding all of the circuits that I just mentioned, and then get off the Isle of Man nice and early into Belfast and ride through the 4 provinces of Ireland, so Ulster, Munster, Leinster and Connacht. Obviously, I'm going to land in Ulster, so tick, and then kind of come down. I'm going to stay in Galway for a night, and then kind of come back up and see my mum. And then back onto a ferry and back home to Essex. Some 3,000 miles, 8 days after I've started. And
cool, man.
Yeah, that's the plan.
When are you doing that? When do you do that?
So Andy Mully has been instrumental on the date. Andy and I have been talking about this, or I've been talking about this for a little while. And Andy said, well, I'll kind of ride it with you. Oh, okay. And he said, well, I've got the 18th of April. I went, right, okay. So I went, well, we'll go with the 18th of April. So his job basically allow him to book a year in advance. And if he doesn't, he just won't get the dates. Yeah. So yeah, he said, I've booked that week. And if we don't go, then you're going by yourself, basically. So, obviously, the further we go into May, the closer we get to the TT and June. And then the Southern 100 happens, the Manx TT happens. So there's lots of different events happening on the Isle of Man. So
ferries, the prices all go up through the roof as well, don't they?
Absolutely. So April, as much as we're looking, maybe we might get rain and whatever. It is what
You're
it
going
is.
to Scotland and Ireland, Mark. Of course it's going to rain.
It's going to rain. So, yeah. So
you go in July and August, it's going to rain.
Yeah. So, yeah, April, I think, is just the best time to do it. So that's that. April it is. So whether we like it or not, that's what's happening.
So what are you doing about, are you like resting in the evening, or is it just ride, sleep, sleep?
So, basically, so we're doing Nest Point to Land's End hotel, and then hopefully get Mully out of bed nice and early and head for, so we're going to stay at Glasgow, we're going to stay at Glasgow somewhere. That's going to be day 2. Then we're going to ride from there to John O'Groats and back to Inverness in one day, and basically stay the night in Inverness, and then Inverness to Hailsham. So someone said, aren't you going to have a day off? Really and truly, the ferry to the Isle of Man is quite a long time on the ferry. So I plan to kind of rest myself. I've got an air mattress, and I whether people like it or not, I'm going to be resting my body whilst we're going to the Isle of Man. There won't be an awful lot of riding miles done on the Isle of Man. It's going to be more videography and trying to tell a story, depict the challenge within a challenge. Same again coming off the Isle of Man, clearly quite a long crossing coming off the Isle of Man. Same again, going to rest my body and make sure. I'm actually doing Pilates at the minute. And
good idea, man.
Do you know what? People call it Ponzi or whatever, but you know what? It's done me an absolute power of good. It really, really has. Unfortunately, it's got this kind of stigma attached to it. But
by people that have never done it.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's just got people have got this preconceived idea. But I tell you what, try it and then knock it. You know,
fantastic for the core. Says me, the big fat bloke. We in the firearms division, when I used to do diplomatic protection, a lot of that is stationary, stood there, and I used to wear my ballistic plates. So, I'm probably carrying about 5 stone of armoured vest, guns, my belt, boots, everything like that. And all that weight is compressing down on your spine. So when you're just static and stood there, bad backs were notorious in that department because everyone had bad backs, basically. So they started bringing in Pilates. And imagine a bunch of crusty, old fart coppers being told that they need to do Pilates. We had that attitude. Forget that, I'm not doing that, sissies, not doing that. Honestly, once we actually did it and you see the benefits, it was amazing. I still do some of those exercises now, just like the stretching ones for your lower back and things. I imagine you've got loads of them. Bring your knee up and roll it to the sides. Brilliant.
Yep.
I get asked about challenge rides. People ask me, sorry to interrupt again, but
no, go for it.
People ask me all the time for advice about doing these challenge rides. And I always say to them, it's like every time you stop, so when you fill up with fuel or you go to the toilet or whatever it is that you do, get some fluid in you, like not sugary stuff, but water if you can, and then stretch. Just do a 5-minute stretch. You might feel like a wanker in the petrol station, bending over and touching your toes and stretch, but it's brilliant. Just stretch and get the blood flowing again. Good.
Yeah. I have got I've got no problems about doing stuff in public nowadays. If I can stand in front of a camera and do pieces to camera while people were walking,
there's laws against that, Mark.
Yeah, I know. But thanks, mate. But like you and I, we do kind of pieces to camera whilst people are walking past. It's the same as doing stretches, isn't it? Kind of people.
I still feel a twat talking to a camera, mate. I still struggle.
Really?
With that.
See, I've got no problem doing it at all.
Yeah. I'm all right in my helmet, but like talking to a camera, I feel a complete twat.
Really?
Still. Oh yeah.
See, I've got no problem. I just, but when I was using my Sony camera, which was probably that, you could see it. You could see the camera. So as people walked past, they could see the tripod and they could see the camera. I've got a microphone on, do your piece to camera. People go, I wonder who he is then. Talking to his camera. But now I use the Pocket 3. Mm-hmm. Most people can't even see the camera. They just think I'm talking to myself.
And everyone's used to everyone's used to people filming themselves with their phone, but I'm still quite self-conscious about it, to be honest. Sometimes you just have to man up and put your big boy pants on, don't you, and do it. But I'm still self-conscious. I will purposely try and take myself somewhere where there aren't people if I'm going to be doing a piece to camera and stuff.
Right.
If I can.
I did the Newark bike show recently, and I just thought there isn't going to be an occasion. There isn't going to be a spot where there won't be people walking past. So I just went, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. But
good man.
Yeah. I did actually. Go on.
No. Please go on. I don't want to interrupt.
Right. So getting older, and this is a sign of getting older. I actually wear hearing aids now. Not tonight. I put my radio mic on to do a piece to camera at NEC. I went to MCL Live, and I've done my bit. Hello and welcome along to whatever I said. And normally I don't listen to anything I do until I stick it in and I listen back to it in post. But for some reason, whilst I was at MCL, I thought, I'll just listen to that back and see how that sounded. And the hearing aids interfere with the radio mic.
So
and it was like
wee noise.
No, just it was horrible. So I kind of went, so what's different? Pop them out, switch them off, put them on the ground, underneath the tripod, do the piece to camera again, worked a treat. So all evening, my wife's been going, do you want to hear? No, I don't want them. I don't want them anywhere near me. I've got these on. I can hear you. It's fine.
How bad is your hearing then without them?
So both ears are 30% hearing loss.
Oh, wow.
So
and do you know why? Do you know what's brought that?
Well, I obviously I used to work in the music industry, and I think that's kind of part of it. being on loud kind of sound stage, whatever, loud instruments around me. I used to ride an awful lot of...
Mark, we didn't cover that. Sorry, folks. We forgot to mention, Mark was a stripper. Didn't mention that.
Yeah, so obviously I used to be in a band.
Say no.
Yeah, I know. But you did know that my wife was a pole dancer?
I don't know how to answer that, Mark.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos.
Yeah.
No. Sorry,
yeah,
Sal.
Now, a friend of mine told everybody that my wife was a pole dancer. And so every time my wife used to turn up anywhere, and people used to kind of look her up and down, going, maybe she could be, you know. But she wasn't. Anyway, so I rode an awful lot of motorbikes for a very, very long time with no ear defenders at all. I mean, even soft ear defenders weren't a thing when I started riding motorbikes. An awful lot of the vehicles that I used to drive when I started driving professionally for the same company that I work for now were very, very loud. We used to drive the old bread vans, and I'd get back into it and the radio would be on and go, "Cow, who turned the radio up?" And I did. I didn't realize that I'd turned the radio up that loud so I could hear it. You don't realize just how loud the van is. So I think all of the above. All of the above.
Yeah.
And I did blame a pal of mine, Dave Harley, as well, because when we used to do substance abuse, we did, he would go, "Oh, listen to this," and he'd put headphones on you, and then he would turn them up little by little by little by little until they were so loud in your ears. It was just, yeah. So all of the above, But it was weird. I was doing an interview with a guy last year at Stow-Maurice, the First World War aerodrome in Essex. And I set 2 cameras up, so like a 2-camera shot. And I said to him, "Oh, by the way, I've got a receiver on the camera. We've got our 2 radio mics. Make sure I switch everything on." Because obviously we are presenters, cameramen, we're everything when we go out to do what we do. And I thought, well, if I say to him, make sure everything's switched, otherwise I'm recording a silent movie. So I'd switched the 2 cameras on, and I'd done me sync up 1, 2, 3. And he said to me, "Did you switch on the receiver?" And I didn't hear him. But of course, it's recording him saying it. And then he said it a little bit louder, and I didn't hear him say that either. So then I came time to edit the video, and I witnessed just how deaf I was. And I went, I think it's about time I did something about this.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world.
No, mate. But there's so many people have them now.
Yeah, totally.
Are yours the tiny little wee ones?
Yeah, they are tiny little wee ones. They hook around my ear. But thankfully, I mean, where when I was a kid, people used to take the piss out of my big ears. It's handy having big ears now because, the hearing aids kind of, people go, "I can't see them." Like, you see my ears though, can't you? But yeah, the difference it's made is really good.
See, I'm like you. I never used to wear protection. I never used to wear ear protection at all. Really, I used to like the wind noise in the lid, and I loved all that. And I worked, before the old bill back in my student days. I worked as a bouncer in nightclubs, and you literally stood next to a speaker all night, every night for like 8 hours. And I mean, I've got tinnitus now. I have tinnitus. It's not constant; it's intermittent. But it does make me think, oh God, is this written in my cards now? Like, is it coming my way? Which it probably will. I started wearing, earbuds now when I'm on the bike, but probably the horse is probably well and truly bolted. Well, I will. We'll see.
Yeah, but
so anyway,
whatever you've got, protect it. Just even if you think there's damage done, just kind of protect what you've got. Yeah. Yeah.
Good point. So back to the challenge. 18th of April, you said, and it's going to be. Was it 8 days or 10 days?
8 days.
You're aiming 8 days. Right, cool. Have you put, I mean, you must have put thought, how are you going to film it? Like what? Because I find when I go away and do these challenge rides, and my tours is exactly the same, I pay the price for my lack of foresight and forethought in it, because I don't record everything, but I'm away and I'm just like, right, okay, I think what's coming up could be a nice look at that moment, or it could be a nice sequence of bends. I'll put the camera, I'll record for a minute or two, switch it off, and I just do that throughout. But you still end up with 3, 4, 5 hours of footage, thousands and thousands of little short clips, and I still have to work my way through that. And that is what takes me so long. Like, I'll sit and work constantly for 3, 4, 5 days to create one little vid. So, whereas other people I know can do it in a day or two.
Yeah, I know. And I can't. But what I plan to do for this trip, thankfully, you taught me how to file, because, oh no, it wasn't you. It was Dickie Vegas taught me how to file, because my filing was absolutely abysmal. And it wasn't until I went home after Richie had said, that's how you put your filing together. And apparently you taught him how to do it. Is that right?
Is this just where like you'll have a helmet cam folder and you put all your helmet cam in that? You've got a cockpit cam. Put all your cockpit cam in that.
Oh, no. I have a folder which is for day one of my trip. So I'll call that kind of the mission, whatever, the whole, this mission, I'll just call it the mission. And then I'll put day one at folder into that folder, and then in that folder there will be the helmet, all of the different cameras. But they'll all go into that folder, and then day two will be etc. But so what I plan to do is I'll obviously file everything that I'm going to file, as we just said, video everything like I normally would. But I think I will write down a little journal and keep a little story, so I've got almost like a little narrative or an idea of the whatever events I've written down. Clearly, they must be significant events. If they're on camera, then I will sling them onto the edit and hopefully get some sort of a story in my head before I actually come to edit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the, I haven't done that in the past, but that's what I kind of plan to do this time. So day one, obviously Nest Point to Land's End and whatever in between, fill in the blanks.
Yeah, because I mean, that's brutal. That Nest Point to Land's End is just brutal. It's just a bore. Are you doing motorway or are you doing back roads?
I think, no, we're going the quickest, whatever the quickest way is.
Yeah. Because it's, I mean, it's just, there's nothing there. So, although that's a big chunk of distance, there's effectively nothing going on in terms of when you're on the bike. So like for me now, when I do these rides, because I'll go, the way I do it is I'll go home to Land's End, St David's, John O'Groats, Nest Point, back to home. And that completes the circuit. Yeah. But that first bit to Land's End, I just find that's probably one of the biggest hurdles, because it's a good 7 and a bit hours. And there's just fucking nothing. It's just motorway, boring as sin. Right. And then the last chunk takes forever to get to Land's End. Once you get to, oh bloody hell, I've forgotten the name of it. To the town where you come off the main sort of A road, and then you come on, you start doing single track road after that. But anyway, it's for me, it's like once I've done that, okay, now we're into the challenge now, because it gets a little bit more interesting once you start heading up to St David's. Yeah. Certainly from St David's on, it's like, right, we're on now, let's have it. So we're skipping St David's. Filming, there's just nothing. There's nothing there to film.
There's nothing to film. Me, so okay, interesting.
Yeah, you make it. You could quite easily make that a 20, 30 second montage. Just poof there.
Christ.
The whole point of me bringing this up is that it's made me now start to really try and think about what it is I'm going to be filming, because otherwise you just end up with so much guff where there's nothing actually happening. There's nothing contributing to any story. So it's a waste of your time, effectively, Totally. And it's hard because I'm like you. Well, it's happening, so I need to document this in case something happens. But what you need to do and what people want to see is the human side of it. So that if something does happen, you're not going to be on the bike, are you? Or even if you are, just film it and then you start recording and you're giving your reaction to what's just happened. That's the human element. That's the bit that people bond with. That's the bit that they recognize and they can invest in. Just being sat on a bike and, okay, there's a motorway, there's a car, there's another bit of field, you know.
Yeah.
There's only so much of that people tolerate. They want the real story behind it. Yeah. So it's like, what I'm saying is, like, you know, you've got all this stuff that you're going to be doing in the Isle of Man connected with all these different circuits. It's a brilliant piece. You know, there's loads that you can research there and, you know, have in your mind, right, I'm going to go here and I'll film this and I need, these are the landmarks and the iconic places. And, you know, it's all stuff like that. And that's what I'm trying to almost preempt and have in my head, like a shot list or a plan about what I'm going to film. Because it'll just make the edit so much easier once. I don't know if you ever do anything off a bike. So if you're doing like a kit review or something like that, I have a plan. I put a structure, like I write out a structure as to here's the beginning, the middle, the end, and these are all the points that I want to hit, and these are the shots that I want. It's so much easier to film and edit when you have that. You can get that done in a day.
So when I do a bike review, I've got a script effectively on my phone, and I've got my camera, my Pocket 3 in my right hand, script in my left hand, and I'm literally just kind of flicking through my script so that I know where I am. So I know where I am, and but I thought it would be easy to transition from doing motorbike reviews to a jacket review. And do you know what? Watching you do a review on a jacket, I specifically remember you doing a review on a jacket. And you were talking about, there was zips and the Velcro and whatever. But so good. You made it look easy. No, you did. You made it look easy. But your voice, you have a fantastic voice for doing reviews. Your pronunciation, your diction, and the way you put it across. And thankfully, I haven't got a bad voice either. I've been complimented on how I speak. So, I don't know. My mum obviously smacking me around the back of the head. Because let's face it, I don't think either of us we've both got faces for radio.
But I'm just about to say, I've got a face for radio. Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to lecture there. It's just it's stuff that is really become to the fore with me with editing now. I
have been inspired and influenced, even though I hate that word. I have been inspired an awful lot by you, and I've said it in the past. I am eternally grateful for the help that you have given me in the past, and point me. But you have pointed me in the right direction. No, not at all. And I tried to do the same for other people now because why not? You know, why not? Yeah. Kind of. I've learned. But have you heard of Dylan John? He's a YouTuber who specializes in Final Cut Pro.
Sorry.
Dylan John, he's brilliant. I've learned so much from him. But
I was thinking in the bike world, but I follow him.
Yeah, Final Cut Pro. But he's great. I've learned an awful lot. So where you get this massive toolkit, which is your Final Cut Pro, and I found it very, very overwhelming when I first okay. But little by little, I've got better at it, but kind of learn how to
it just takes time. It takes time.
It does.
And YouTube, YouTube itself is fantastic, isn't it? Because you can just, you can literally just search on YouTube, how do you do this? You know what I mean? Yep. Or now you've got AI. I use AI or Grok or any of them. I use them all the time now. Like I want to do this. How would I do this in Final Cut?
Yeah.
And it'll, not only will it tell you, it will point you to the videos that you need to go and look at.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Awesome bit of kit.
Getting back to the challenge, I wasn't actually scared of, or the ride that I was scared of, because we're not going to St. David's. We're doing Ness Point to Land's End, and then we're going up. We're going to bypass St. David's. Andy's going to come back down to St. David's. So the ride that I'm apprehensive of is from Land's End to Scotland. That's the one that was making me go, bloody hell, it's a long old way.
That's shorter than if you did St. David's. You're on main road all the way basically till you get to. Well, in fact, you're main road the whole way. It might not all be motorway, but you're on main road the whole way there. When you do St. David's, there's bits of that where you're on. Once you come off that is it the A40? That road in Wales that goes west. Once you come off that at like, oh God, what's it called? Haverfordwest sort of area. Once you come off that and start heading north up towards St. David's, it's slow going. Then that takes forever. And then you have to come back through Wales before you jump onto the motorway across the top. And then that reconnects with the M6 and you can start eating the miles up. But if you're going Land's End to John O'Groats, it's still a chunk of change. It's still a long old way that. But you're on fast moving, good, big, decent road there. Only problem you might have is traffic, to be honest, depending on what time you're doing it. But
so we're doing
you'll be fine.
First leg on a Saturday, the second leg's going to be on a Sunday, and then coming back down from Inverness to Haysham is going to be on the Monday. So I don't know. Hopefully, who knows? I guess it'll all become clear. Well, we'll work it out.
I mean, it's like straight away, there's so many different stories that you're going to be able to tell there in your videos, isn't it? It's the personal challenge of just the sheer endurance side of it and doing that many miles in consecutive days. Everything, the impact that has on you. Great. It's going to be a cracking little story.
I think even when I went to Spain, I did a tour of Spain through the Picos, Segovia, Consuegra, Zaragoza, and then went through the Pyrenees and into Normandy, and then came home. And if you're going to video all of that, and I did, I didn't realize just how disciplined you need to be to download all the footage, charge all the cameras, and then you feed yourself. And that's kind of how I did it every day. Because I don't know how many cameras. And I asked you when we spoke, and Richie and Andy when I spoke to them, how many cameras, and Dave Perry, how many cameras, and all of you had. Well, I think all of you had less cameras than I was using. But, But I have
the less, the better.
You see, yeah.
Andy TMF, if he can get away with just doing one, he'll use one.
I know. I just, I was like, wow. But then your phone will shoot in 4K now. Albeit,
brilliant.
Yeah, it is good, but I still don't like it as much as getting a proper camera out. But maybe one day.
For YouTube, there's you can make this as long as the light's good, as long as the lighting's good. Your phone will create, for 99% of the people out there, won't really notice. It's only it's only people like Dave Perry, like people who have a lot of experience in cameras and camera work. They'll be able to tell what frame rate you're using. They'll be able to tell, all sorts of stuff. Have you done the white balance right? All this sort of stuff. Most people don't know and don't care. It's just put something in front of them that entertains them. You could film it on cheese. As long as the sound's pretty decent and you're telling a good story, people will watch.
Yeah.
It's you and the story that you're telling.
Yeah. I've been really lucky with some of the content that I have videoed. Unfortunately, it's the bike reviews seem to get an awful lot of footfall. But the other stuff that I've really invested an awful lot of time into, like the video I did on Storm Maurice, I just thought it would be nice to do something different other than just do bike review. So I've been to the Museum of Power. It's a fantastic place not far from here. And I thought, well, if I was a biker and I wanted to go for a ride, it's a great place to go for a ride. So I went down there and said, basically, kind of, do you mind if I do a video about museum, about your place? And they were very, very kind. I got access to a lot of their stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't do very well, which is unfortunate. But you have to remember why you do some of this stuff.
Yeah, like don't. I'm saying don't chase the views. It's perfectly natural to do that. But you need to remember, right? We are in the bike niche of YouTube, which is already very small. Yeah. Bike reviews will always get the footfall because they're the things people are searching. They're the things people are interested in. They're things people are going to watch. So everybody gets loads more views on bike reviews. Look at some of the massive channels. If they do anything that isn't a bike review, even a bit of kit review, that the views on that will be compared to what they'll get for a bike review. That's what you want to do if you want to get big views and grow the channel. Yeah. But you can't fall into that trap. You do them by all means. But if your passion isn't in that, my advice to everyone is just invest your time in doing what you want to do. Who gives a shit what views you get? Don't worry about that, because what will happen is your channel will start to develop an audience who like what it is that you're creating, and B, you're also training the YouTube algorithm, because when you first start off, the algorithm doesn't know who you are and what you're doing. And what people do is they do a video on this and a video on that and a video on this and a video on that. The algorithm's got no idea who you are and who to sell, because it's not going to send it to all these different people. It's just going to look at your content and go, this is all over the place, not interested. Whereas if you're just focusing on, say, bike review, and then you'll do something different, it goes, okay, well, predominantly this is a bike review channel. So it chucks it out to all the people who are interested in bike reviews, right? And then depending on how many people click on the thumbnail and watch the majority of that vid, and then what they do after, do they like it, do they share it, YouTube might then go, okay, we'll send this out to some more people, and then some more people and more people. And just over time, that's how your audience and your sub base grows. Yeah. And as it's growing, if you're chucking in the odd little vid on something else, that's going to start, people know what to expect from your channel. They'll be like, okay, he's a bike review channel, but occasionally he does this. Or they're a tour channel, and occasionally they do a bike review. Yeah, which is kind of where I am. I'm in that sphere where I predominantly do tour stuff, and I'll occasionally do a bike review or a bit of kit review. And I've got other ideas what I want to start doing. But, even though I've got 100,000 subs, that will probably, it does hurt. It does hurt me if I do something that I don't normally do. Yeah. Because the algorithm will look and go, well, normally he'd have X amount of people by now watching the vids. They're not watching this one. So this one's shit. And they kill it. And then it just doesn't go out any further. And if you have a few of them on the bounce, you effectively kill your channel, which is kind of what I did about a year or two ago. And it's taken a long time to bring that back.
Build it back up again.
In the early days, you're establishing what your channel's about, so you've got the luxury where you can. It's just do what you want to do.
I guess the early days, really, with me, what I was doing really was mostly sidecars and the occasional solo something or other. It was weird because the sidecar people would watch the sidecar content, and the solo people would watch the motorbike content, and very, very rarely would anybody be a crossover. But at one point it was just all sidecars. It was predominantly all sidecars, but unfortunately that kind of had to stop. But just
it is what it is, mate. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we get across onto some questions? Because we've got some questions to get through.
Do you know what? I'll be amazed if there's any, but
there's a few for us to get through, mate.
Okay.
I've changed it slightly now in that I have a question for you first off.
Okay.
That is, I describe Bru Time as a relaxed conversation podcast exploring what it really means to live your life through honest conversations with people who choose more. When you hear that, what does choosing more mean to you?
Now, I have been listening to the podcast and I have been listening to you ask that question. And every time I've pressed pause on the video and had a think, and I think I've answered this question 5 times, 5 different ways. But having thought about it, and having thought about it, I think there's 2 ways of answering it. You can fall into the trap nowadays, or certainly I have, of doom scrolling. And I want more than that. I want more for myself, and I think I want more for my mental health than doom scrolling. I think it's bad for anybody. I was sitting in my lorry, because I'm a lorry driver. I was sitting in my lorry on my tea break, and I always pull into Walker's Cafe up near Barton Mills. If you're ever near that way, it's a good biker's cafe, really nice people, good food. And you will find that cul-de-sac, that lay-by, spotlessly clean. And there's a reason for that. It's because I do a litter pick there every day. And do you know what? It's not to have a pat on the back, and every time I do it, they go, "Do you want a coffee?" No, I'll pay for my coffee and I'll pay for my piece of cake. And it's not to get a freebie. That does me the absolute power of good. So I'm getting an awful lot from that. Because, like you said, I want more than just sitting there. But they now know my name. I know their name. The regulars kind of go, that's the FedEx guy doing this thing. And, but back to the challenge. So go on.
I was gonna go into that more, but no, come on. Let's hear. What else were you gonna say?
No, go on. Ask it.
I was just saying. So what is it that you get from that? Is it a sense of achievement?
Yeah. So
what is it?
Without being graphic, that area is used for an awful lot of nocturnal activity.
What area is this, Matt?
Yeah. And I bag most of it every day, and
you
it's
wear
horrible.
Gloves.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got my little thingy, like there's mums and dads and kids and kind of all sorts of people pulling in the daytime, and they shouldn't be getting out of their cars and witnessing what's on the floor.
There must be bins and stuff around about.
I
don't understand people that just dump stuff.
No, I don't get it. But there is bins, and James, one of the young fella who works in a cafe, he normally does the bins and he does a litter pick. And I actually jumped down my cab one day and said, James, I wouldn't mind giving you a hand to do a litter pick. And that's kind of, because I kind of wanted to do it, but I felt a bit kind of awkward about doing it. But now it's just like, do you want a black bag? And kind of, he's going to go off and do his litter pick. But it does look so much better. But James and I both agree that rubbish brings rubbish. So if you don't clean the place, people just roll the window down and go, they don't care anyway. Typical the cul-de-sac or, lay-by. And so now James keeps the bins empty and I do my litter pick and the place looks the better for it. So it's something simple, but you know what? It's a win-win thing. I drove my lorry into it and kind of go, still looks all right.
I've done my bit. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And like James had that effect on you, your actions may well be having that effect on somebody else. Somebody else might see what you're doing and go, do you know what? I need to do something like that.
Yeah.
You're an influencer, Mark. You're an influencer.
Stop it. Do you know what? Have you ever heard of NLP? Neuro-linguistic program.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to NLP some years ago, and I went along to, I think it was like a 4 or 5 day thing, and I did get a lot from it. I did learn an awful lot from it, but what I took away from it was they were basically gearing the whole thing for people like double glazing salesmen. I mean, I'm sure there's other salespeople out there. But I thought, I don't want to be coerced into buying something or, people manipulating. And that's kind of why I push back against the whole influencer tag. Richie Vida, he likes the term influencer and he hates the term content creator, where I see myself more as a content creator. But it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. I hope that something that I produce and put on YouTube is entertaining. And my channel is not about me. I am obviously on the channel and occasionally will do a piece to camera. It's my channel. But my channel is so just not about me. I don't want it to be about me. I'd rather kind of do an interview and find out about someone else. Yeah. But,
So what was it you were going to start talking about the challenge, and with regards to what you said
challenge,
about means more?
I guess is more as well, isn't it? So I could mourn my former work colleagues and feel very, very helpless when something like that happens, when someone takes their own life. You feel very, very helpless. As we all do, and as I did. And I just think if the conversations that you have been having with Chris, English Biker Dan, and others, those conversations have helped. I'm sure they have. So if me doing my challenge helps someone, then surely instead of me just creating content or influencing people, that's more, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Means the world when you get sort of one-on-one feedback back from people, either in the comments or they drop an email or DM or something like that, and they tell you about any sort of positive impact that you've had on them. It's awesome. It's fantastic. It really is brilliant. It's the best. It's the best motivation to keep doing what you're doing and get better at what you're doing.
I've had two really nice ones recently, and because when I was in a band, you'll have 100 people come up to you, and 99 of them will say how wonderful you are. One of them will say how bad you were. You'll remember that one. But I've got old enough and wise enough to kind of go, okay, clearly. And try and remember the positive nights, because you will have more positive nights than bad ones.
Absolutely.
And you just try and remember them. Bruce, I'd like you to choose 1, 2, or 3.
2.
Okay. It's another Guinness. There was 2 other types of alcohol on the table.
Good effort. I've got another can to drink, but the first one exploded when I opened it, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah. Right, okay, shall we move across to Patreon, and we'll start with the clan questions. So this is patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Andy. Evening both, hope you're well. Murt, is this your biggest motorcycle challenge you've set to yourself, and how will you feel when you've completed it?
Oh. I think I am going to feel completely shattered when I'm when I get home on that Sunday evening. What was the start of the question? Why have I set it?
Is this the biggest challenge?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is the biggest
challenge.
Yeah. So, I've never done a motorcycle challenge before. I've done a tour, and when I was talking to my nephew Dean in Ireland, he said, "Oh, we can go to such and such." And I went, "It's not a tour; it's a challenge." I'm sure I will be going past points of interest, and I'll be conscious of, if I'm going past a point of interest, to either take a photograph or shoot a piece of footage to make the video that I'm going to make interesting for the viewer. But I'm not going to go out of my way to shoot that piece of footage for the sake of the video. It's a challenge to ride 3,000 miles, averaging 300 miles a day every day. And like I said to you earlier, when I did the Spain trip, I didn't realize just how disciplined I had to be to download your footage, charge your cameras, feed yourself, go to bed. You kind of, and you think, oh, but I want to have a drink as well. No, you've got to do all of that because then tomorrow you're back on your bike and you're going again. So yeah, thankfully my Spanish trip was almost like a challenge. There was occasional days where I stopped. It's not everybody's bag to kind of move location continuously, but for various reasons, and I think you know why, I needed the Spanish trip in 23. There was a few things kind of happened in my life before I went to Spain, and through the winter, I was feeling particularly low, and my wife encouraged me to plan a trip, basically. I think she knew that it was going to be good for my head.
Mate, if you want to talk about that, feel free. But if you don't, obviously, it's your prerogative.
So, both you and I were in the Isle of Man in 22, and so I was working after I left. After Harry Payne went off to be on the world stage, I worked with a father and son race team, and I didn't really know what I was going to do in the Sidecar paddock at all, and the two of them made me feel very, very at home in their owning, and it was a very, very different dynamic. It was where Harry was hard to work with, and he won't mind me saying that. I still love the guy to bits, but he was very hard to work with. These two were so different. They were just, do you want, have a cup of tea? Don't video anything if you don't want to video anything. It's fine. And the video that we shot together is still on my channel. And that was basically like the lead up to them going to the Isle of Man. So I said, well, we'll make this like a before you go video type of thing. So we did that. And in fact, we did like a Skype interview chat, and I put some race footage into it. And so the next thing was they were going to go to the Isle of Man. So one of them said to me, well, you've got to come to the Isle of Man. Really? So I went home and kind of ran that past my wife, and Sal said, yep, I'm saluting that idea. You've got to go to the Isle of Man. So some of his friends, some of the driver's friends said, we've got a room, basically, because accommodation is stupidly expensive, especially in TT week. But I was put up for the week for very little money because they knew I was going to be working alongside the lads. So I had the pass round my neck, and I had all of the passes to get everywhere you would want to get in the Isle of Man. So I went from this guy with my little camera, the nobody, I was stood alongside ITV and all the rest of them with my little camera. So I put I was allowed to put an amount of cameras on to Roger and Bradley. So I've got lap footage of them going around the TT. And I was doing a lot of, Greenlight TV allowed me to do that, but said I couldn't use any of the footage in any of my videos after that. So that's fine. So I never did. So yeah, I basically did the prep after when they were going out. Some footage actually when I met you guys down, I can't remember what pub it was now. You and I met at.
Oh God, it's a famous one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Forgotten the name of it.
Sheesh. Yeah, but I did a few passing shots of them there and various other places around the Isle of Man, around the circuit, and you're only ever going to catch them for a brief minute. But they did quite well in race one, albeit they got black flagged, and they were given corrected time and allowed to go again. So they got a finish, and they got a finisher's medal. And we had that bit in between race one and race two, prep the bike, prep themselves, get everything sorted out, and go again in race two. So the idea was that I was going to go back out onto the circuit and try catch another passing shot. And for some reason, Roger, the day previous, said, "You're staying in the paddock, aren't you?" And I kind of went, and he said, no, you're staying in the paddock. I went, "Oh, I guess I'm staying in the paddock then." And I don't know why he said that, but he wanted me to stay in the paddock. So I stayed in the awning with him. Everybody else went off. I videoed a bit of him. We chatted, we laughed, we joked, he prepped. And then the race came, and I went along Bray Hill, Glencrutchery Road, and videoed on the start and finish straight, basically from where they were going into no man's land, where they get a tap on the shoulder, all the way back to my crew and Roger and Bradley. And then it was basically, someone said, "Yeah, I've kind of give him a hug and a squeeze," and I basically put the camera away for a minute. And I was happy to do that. I put my camera away, gave them a hug and a squeeze, and then watched them kind of move forward. And then it's that moment where we're leaving the grid then. So for those of you who don't know the TT, you can't see the whole circuit. You have a big screen if you're lucky, or alternatively, you use an app on your phone and you watched everything. You watch the little spots. So I knew they'd done lap one, and they were coming through Governors, and basically put your phone down, pick your camera up, focus that way, and the next thing that's going to come through from your right is going to be them. So get it rolling, because if you don't get it rolling, it's too late. So press record, put my eye to the camera, and two sets of sidecars came through and went out of shot. So I got the shot, and minutes later, the red light came on. So it's a red flag, but it's a red light. And the doctor's car pulled away. And you know what? I turned to someone beside me, and I went, "You don't want to see that, do you?" And I don't know even why I said it. I mean, what a dopey thing to say. But I went, "Oh, you don't want to see that, do you?" And it didn't dawn on me. It didn't occur to me. And I guess every race team will say the same thing. No one ever thinks it's going to be them. And and I certainly didn't think it was our team. So there was a period of time where I was sitting with the two respective girlfriends, the two boys that were in the sidecar. I was with them, with the two girls, and it was that uncomfortable, seemed like an age, whilst we sat in the grandstand, thinking, are we going to stay here? Are we leaving? Or what are we doing? Anyway, it started to empty, and I got to the bottom of the steps. The deal is no one's allowed to carry a phone with them, but you write a telephone number inside your leathers, and if you stop, you break down, you say to someone over the wall, "Do us a favour, mate, let me use your phone. Call. Phone up that number." So I phoned the guy who was supposed to be receiving that call. "Have you heard from the boys?" "Nope." Yeah. Okay. So Brian Alaria, one of the crews, came over, and he's thumped me in the stomach, and he said, it's the boys. It's the boys." So we went one way to get to the office, and I didn't realize, but the girls had gone the short way. So we walked up one set of steps, and there's a door, and there was a guy who was with us all week. His name is Steve, and he had a very, very loud, for a small guy, he had a very loud laugh. all week we'd heard Steve laugh, and it was a good laugh, but all week we'd heard Steve laugh. And he was the guy that was supposed to receive the call.
Yeah.
Brian and myself were one side of the door, and basically they said, you need to go through that door. Why? So we opened the door, and there were the two girls and Steve, and the world had just changed. We didn't realize, but about half an hour or so later, the person who had obviously driven away in that car, the doctor, came into the room, and I don't remember anything of what she said, but I remember the last words she said: succumbed to their injuries. And so it was a very, we all know what it is to lose someone. And like, I've lost my dad, I've lost my brother, and it's sad and it's tragic and it's emotional, but it's part of life. But losing the two boys the way we lost them was traumatic. And people say, oh, it's traumatic. But I didn't realize just how much trauma something like that does to your system. And it is, So I didn't really think it was fair that I would go and work in the Sidecar paddock with a long face, because all of those boys and girls need to go down that hill with a clear focus.
Yeah.
And if
it's
I'm
crazy,
still
isn't it? But they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're all able to put it into a little box and put it away, and and if I'm still kind of thinking and whatever about the two boys, that wouldn't be fair on me to kind of go back in the paddock with a long face thinking of that, But.
Yeah, I get you, pal. I get you.
Yeah.
Crikey. Yeah, she was. Yeah, I remember it happening. I remember hearing about it, and I got a message from you about it. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I tried to be the strong. I mean, the two girls, they absolutely fell apart, and I tried to be like really, really strong for them. Steve very much came. He had a complete breakdown, and then basically came back to the camper where we were, and basically wanted to take charge of everything. And I kind of thought, right, you were closer to them, and it's not a contest here. You have control. And I just went off and had a little breakdown. And I think I phoned you whilst I was en route down to another awning to give someone a hug and a squeeze. But I've said this to people over the years. I drive for a living, so I drive around the countryside, and I see little memorials to people that have passed away at the side of the road for various different reasons. And I kind of go, I don't get it. I don't get it. I do now. Because I walked down to where Roger and Bradley passed away, and it's, for me, it was almost like part of understanding why and what had gone wrong.
It's a connection, really. Isn't it? It's a connection to it, to the event, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's different. Everyone needs different things to get over stuff, don't they? And deal with it the way they deal with it themselves. Yeah. Part of life. Yeah. Sad part of life. Yeah. Brutal part of life, but a part of life.
Yeah. So after that, basically, I had to try and reinvent my channel, and I tried to do more race videos, and I did do some more race videos after. But my heart, if I'm honest, wasn't really in it. So I just, I've got more into my solos and doing chats and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the way I pointed me and my channel. But and then my brother passed away, and I refused to remember my brother without a smile on my face. You would have liked him. he was a lot like me, but with the volume turned up. My cousin said something about my brother on the day of his funeral. You could write a book about my brother. There would be so many outlandish stories. People would go, none of them could be true, but every single one of them were. He was a complete nutter. Oh, mate, honestly, he was a complete nutter. But I
was he a biker too?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah. He was one of the reasons I got into bikes, really, as well, and was riding bigger bikes than me. So this year I am 57, and my brother was 57 when he passed away. So it's kind of another reason for that.
Live your life, brother. Live your life.
Yep, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Grasp the nettle. I had Dave Neal on here from Off Track Podcast last week, and he came out with that expression. Grasp the nettle.
Yeah.
Love it.
I haven't actually watched that one. I did say at the start.
Why not?
Yeah, I haven't had time. I've been catching up on Demon Rides. And I went back about 5 or 6 videos of his and started watching, and I went, no, do you know what? I'm going back to the beginning, because he said they were crap at the beginning. And I went back to the beginning, and I've just binge watched. I think I'm about 4 away from finish. I've nearly caught up.
Awesome.
But
nice.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff. He's got some really good content.
He's got a hell of a story as well. His backstory is amazing through his life. Anyway, on to you. Let's get back onto you.
I'm good at doing
answered that first one. Everyone is. Everyone's the same, mate. Everyone's the same. What question was, Andy? Final one for Bruce. Having watched your recent video on how well your bike is after 3 years, what's your next bike? My next bike? I'm going to keep hold of this one for the time being, because there's whispers, nothing confirmed. Yeah. There's whispers, nothing confirmed, about this the M Sport GS, which they've rumoured about and whispered about for quite a while. So I'm just holding off. I'm going to give it another year or two, and another year anyway, and just see if this M1300 GS appears.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't really know, to be honest. Not sure. Maybe I might give the KTM a run for its money if they sort themselves out. I don't know. I mean, KTM's my bike, mate. KTM's always been my bike, but it's just the reliability and the customer service. That I can't. I can't take that risk with the tours.
No, indeed. I have to say that the KTM dealership that I do bike reviews out of, Jim Ames, family-owned business, and they're just such nice people. Unfortunately, the product I know hasn't been great, and they've got a bit of a checkered past. But like you say, I think their service has got an awful lot better.
It's their number one priority at the moment, customer service. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't really. I'm perfectly happy with the bike I've got at the moment, Andy. So that'll do me for the time being.
And my wife has told me that I'm perfectly happy with the bike I've got as well. So that's good.
That's that decision made.
Yeah, that's at the moment. Yeah, kind of. I have 2 bikes. I've got my XT600. Even though Bruce Smart did say I shouldn't buy a second bike. I mean, what's that all about? I ignored you, and I bought the XT600, and I've done very, very little with it since I bought it. This has been, I didn't realize just how much this was going to consume me, time, finances, everything. Thankfully, I'm going to go off on a tangent for a moment. One friend is going to pay for my fuel.
Oh, wow.
I've got a pal who's wants to give me a big chunk of change and said, basically, take out of it whatever you need, and the rest give to the charity. So I said, I've got to pay for my ferries out of that then. So my ferries are paid for, and Andy Mully is paying for the accommodation in the UK bit.
Top man, Andy.
Do you know what? How many companies have I mentioned in that, Bruce? And I did approach I did approach a couple, and no one was interested. But like I did say on my thing the other night, it does. I've got some good friends. I've got some good friends. So, yeah.
I always find it's better just to not ask, and if people offer, fantastic. But if they don't, I always plan. I mean, I've always funded them. I haven't done charity ones like you're doing. But when I've done a challenge rides, it's just like, well, I'm going to pay for this, so that's that. But then I have Patreon, and I make my income from Patreon, tours, YouTube. So, that is other people. Well, it's like everything, isn't it? We all make our money from other people's money, I suppose. It's just a different form of employment now. But anyway, right, next one. Patrick Collum. Evening. Quick question for both. When designing a challenge, is it the challenge or making something unique that gives either of you motivation?
Both. Because I was obviously inspired by your challenges, but I wouldn't want to do the same as what Bruce Smart did. I wanted to do something similar, but different. So, sorry, I got straight in there.
Yeah, no problems, no worries. I'm trying to think, because mine's just, I like it when people say you can't do that, or there's no way you can do that. I kind of, if I think I can do it, then that's great motivation for me. If I think I can do something and someone tells me they don't, then I'm like, oh, okay, right, I've got to prove you wrong. I'm a bit like that, I think.
Yeah.
But only with stuff that really grabs me. Other stuff, couldn't care less what people say. But if I want to do something, it's going to happen. I'll make that happen. And I do prefer the sort of more extreme stuff. I think for me, it's like, well, what somebody never done, or what would very few people do? That's a bit like
riding a jigsaw around the world.
That's part of it. Yeah, people saying you can't do that, so it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go and do it, because I knew you could do it. So it's like, I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cheers that one, Patrick. Next one, Tony Hannum. How you doing, Tony? Good evening, guys. I hope you're both well. I met Murt at the ABR in 2024. We were neighbours, so you popped over for a chat and a drink. My question is, when you both do these challenges, have you ever thought of doing it with other people, or do you like doing them on your own? Well, you are.
I am. Normally, I like riding by myself because sometimes I can ride quickly, and I like to ride quickly, but depending on how I feel and in my head and my body or whatever, I might ride slowly. I don't like to be forced to do anything. But this time I am riding with someone. I'm riding with Andy. I know that the Isle of Man and the Ireland bit, I'll be by myself. On this occasion, I'll be with Andy. How is it for you?
Yeah, if I'm doing like one of the extreme challenges, I just want to be by myself, because I know, if you're riding non-stop for 3 days and you're literally surviving on micro sleeps, you're stopping, having a 10-minute kit or 20-minute kit, or however long your body needs at that time. It is hard, and there's times when I'll have a kit, I get back on the bike, I might only ride for 20 minutes, and then I'm like, I'm nodding dog here. I've got to stop again. And I wouldn't want to second guess that and just go, I'm going to push. And conversely, I don't want the responsibility of somebody else riding outside of their own limits. I think some people don't appreciate how hard a physical challenge and a mental challenge some of those big extreme endurance rides are. And I know in myself where my limits are and what I can do, because I've done loads of them, and I've got 30-year working life of working shifts and long shifts, and I've always survived on like an hour to 2-3 hours sleep. That's all I need. I don't need a lot of sleep.
You can ride through pain, and you can and a bit of discomfort, because certainly when I get to lower speeds,
of it,
absolutely, you can stand up, or you get traffic lights, stand up and just change position. There's nothing you can do about sleep. And if you've got someone
you
with
have to stop and sleep.
I had someone on the back of my bike once falling asleep while we were on a tour once, and he was headbutting me into the back. And I went, well, do you know what? We're either going to get there today and you wake up, or we stop and you fall asleep. Because you're not going to fall asleep in the back of my bike. But like you said, you can't be responsible for someone if you're going to push on. So
I prefer I'll always just do them myself, and I'll kind of be as blunt as to go, I don't want to. People will always offer, but I don't want to ride with anyone. You're welcome to do it yourself, but you're not doing it with me.
No,
we're not doing it as a team. That's that. Yeah. But it's your personal choice, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Adam Jacob. Hi, Bruce and Murt. What's the crack? Hope all's well. No question here. Just wanted to say thanks for the videos and keep up the fantastic work you both are doing. My wife and I had a child in September in 2024, so I had to sell my bikes and get myself an appropriate cage on wheels. And since then, I've been living the life behind the visor through your vids. Thanks again, guys, for everything. Slash. Top man, Adam. Thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you.
Mate, everyone goes through those periods in life, don't they?
Absolutely.
You'll get through them and you'll be back on a bike.
You don't think you will, but you know what? You will. And what I would say is there's an awful lot of stuff on the market nowadays, like the Chinese stuff. You don't need to pay massive amounts of money to put two wheels under you. I know the Chinese stuff is controversial, but
the Chinese stuff is really good quality now. Like your Vosges and things like that are coming out. Yeah, it's good quality stuff.
I rode a CF Moto 450.
I just think we have to be very careful.
Yeah, I rode a CF Moto 450 the other day, and I couldn't believe it was a 450. It's like, really? Wow. Yeah. But
my issue with the Chinese stuff is the impact that's going to have on the biking industry as a whole. Because I think Western and European manufacturers, a lot of them cannot compete with the Chinese bikes because they're all heavily government subsidized. And plus, people get paid a pittance in China. So unless you want your factory workers over here to get paid nothing, then there's no way that they can compete to that extent. They could probably reduce their prices a bit, but not to that extent. And all that's going to mean is you're just going to end up with a big divide. You're going to have budget bikes, and you're going to have like the luxury models. Oh, I've just signaled my camera again.
But companies like Honda are bringing the prices down a bit, but extending the warranty. So they are trying. So it's the Chinese affect a little bit. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. See how long Honda manage that. Yeah. There's dealerships going out of business all the time. Let's see. Yeah. Who knows?
Okay.
Right, Andy Andrews. Hi, Bruce and Murt. Hope you're both well. Question for Murt. Murt, what made you decide to do your challenge and why is it important to you? I covered that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers anyway, Andy. We covered that.
Cheers anyway, Andy. Yeah.
We got some ones over on Instagram and Facebook. What have we got here? Go ahead across to Instagram. John H.M. Mason. Question for Murt and Bruce. What are your pet hates?
I work with Johnny Mason. And he's a good guy, as Johnny. What are my pet hates?
Both on and off the bike.
Right, on the bike when I'm doing videos, I have got this thing where I've watched other people's content, and they've gone, oh, if you can see that thing over there, I can see it, but you can't. I don't see why you would tell the audience that you can see something that they can't. If you're showing something to your audience, show it to them. So that's why I carry a camera that's got a zoom, and I show it to them. So that's one of my pet hates. That's why I carry a camera with a zoom.
What about off the bike?
I've got too many. I've got so many. Ones that springs to mind is slurping of tea or people eating with their mouth open. Yeah.
That's something that annoys me, but every now and then I find myself doing it. And I'm like, I get really annoyed that I've done it.
I love slurping tea when I'm all by myself, but I wouldn't do it in front of someone. There's something about the flavour.
Well, apparently it does. It oxygenizes. Puts oxygen into it.
How many have you had?
Develops the taste. Yeah, I know. One little pissy can. My wife is a really, really quiet eater. She's one of these people who just sits there and she'll chew and chew and chew and chew and chew. Whereas,
my wife isn't.
Like, I chuck it in my mouth, like 2 chews, swallow, done. and I know that if I'm making a bit of noise, I can just see the side eye, and she just looks at me. Oh God, right, okay. I'm not as bad as I used to work with this bloke in the Riot Old Bill, Big Chris, massive, huge Welsh guy. He growled when he ate.
Oh my God.
He'd put his arms all around his food, and he'd like bear hug his food, and then he would just like start eating it, and he would growl as he was eating it. Massive man growling as he ate food. You're like, just leave him alone.
we had a guy you heard of the 59 Club?
No.
So the 59 Club started out life as a youth club and turned into a motorcycle club. It's still going to this day. I think it started in the 50s. It's still in London. There's a video for you. But there was a guy in that 59 Club, and they all used to call him Norm. So a lot of people thought his name was Norman, but it wasn't. His name was Michael. They called him Norm, short for normal, because he just wasn't. And he growled when he ate. He was a barbarian of a man. He made a Z1300 look small.
Yeah. Sounds very much like my mate.
Yeah.
But I know who my mate's dad was, because he was a very famous Welsh rugby player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right, my pet hates. I can be incredibly impatient at times, particularly if I'm hungry or dehydrated. If my blood sugar goes low, I have no patience or tolerance for anyone. Just leave me alone. And I can feel it, because I know I'm becoming quite snappy and just irritable. You know, when I'm in the mood for a fight, like an argument, not a physical fight. But faffing really annoys me, which is rich, because I'm a big faffer. You know what it's like when you're filming. Hey, you've got cameras, to batteries to change. Yeah. So that sort of stuff. Like on tours, we go away on tour, and you'll arrive at a cafe. There's 15 of you. You'll arrive at a cafe. For me, I can get off the bike. I can change batteries in both my cameras. I can check a few bits of kit, go and have a quick chat with Simon, sort out where we're going next, update some routes, maybe do a bit of socials. I've sat down, ordered, spoke with the waiter to say, all right, we're here, we're ready when you are. Know what I'm going to order. I've already picked out, read the menu, it's all sorted. Sat there waiting for the waiter to come. The waiter comes over, starts going round, and he'll go to the last person, and they'll be sat there, and they'll just go, oh, I don't know, is there a menu here? And you're like, we've been here for 15 minutes. You've not even looked at the bloody menu. That annoys me.
Yeah. I've been in a queue for McDonald's before now, like 20 deep with a person. And you get to the counter, and the person beside you will do exactly what you just said. And you go, but you've had all of that time.
I know. That's what that. Do you know, I don't think I realised how much that annoys me.
Oh,
that really annoys me.
Yeah.
Right,
I've got an easy fix.
I feel angry now.
I've got an easy fix. If you ever come out to dinner with Sally and myself, and you are more than welcome if you ever come this way, don't look at the menu. Just have what my wife has, because she always picks the best thing that's on the menu.
Oh, she's one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you just sometimes I think, oh, I'm going rogue. I'm going to pick something that's different to her. And I just
you regret it.
I'm not bothered. Every time.
Good work. Right, next one. SSR F2 Sidecar team. Question for Murt.
It has to be Chris Schofield.
Right. Oh, it is, yeah. Did you enjoy your time in the FSRA paddock and making videos? And do you see yourself returning to do more or even just sit back and enjoy the racing? Thanks, Chris.
I am actually going back to the FSRA paddock next month. They're testing down at Brands Hatch. And I think that they're on the short circuit. And they've invited me down. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring a bag of cameras. Whether I put cameras on or not is, I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go back. Chris is part of the Sidecar family. And yeah, that you don't leave the Sidecar family. You might try and leave the side, but you don't. You never really leave. Bit like the mafia.
Oh, that's awesome.
But they're really, it's a lovely kind of, it's a very, a lovely environment to be in. I would dare anybody to walk into a solo motorcycle awning, make a video with them, and then try and walk out and walk into another one. You won't do it, but you will do it with the Sidecar paddock. Because they just go, oh, that's fine. He's just wondering about doing his thing. Kind of, it's fine. You know. So.
Cool, man. It's good to see that you're not going back, but do you know what I mean? You're
yeah. Oh, I didn't fall out of love with them. You know, I didn't fall out of love with the sport and at all. But the Isle of Man, there is a certain mystique and magic about the place. But for me, at the moment, the mystique and the magic for the Isle of Man isn't there. But I am still going to go back. Well, in 8 weeks' time.
Is that when it is? 8 weeks.
It's 8 weeks. I know that you put on. We're on. Oh yeah, I know you put the picture on. Said 12 weeks, but that was like 4 weeks ago. So yeah, it's 8 weeks this Saturday. So I don't know when you're putting this out, but
a week today, next Wednesday,
so it'll be
25th.
Yeah. So yeah,
almost end of February already, mate. What is going on? No. Bloody hell, this year's gone quick so far. Right, across to Facebook. Oh, mate, it will be. Across to Facebook, Bandit Man UK. My question to both of you would be,
Richard,
if you couldn't buy BMW GSs, what would you ride and why? Best wishes to Murt with his charity ride. You said KTM.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually very, very tempted by a KTM. I've seen the new 1390 Adventure. And obviously when it comes out, Ben at Jim Ames KTM will literally send me an email and say, I've got a demo, do you want to ride it? Yeah, I've seen it at MCL Live last year, and it looks very, very impressive. Albeit, I need to sit on it because the footrests for the rear is super important because clearly I do carry a pillion. Sally Hawkins goes on the back. And if it's not as comfortable as a 1250, it ain't going to happen. But I would be tempted.
It's interesting because the 1300 isn't as a pillion. The 1300 isn't as comfortable as the 1250 or 1200. It's a much smaller sort of seating area on the 1300. It's a lot of people.
Strange, isn't it? I had the 1200 Rally like yours, fully luggaged up, and whatever way the top box seemed to encroach. I shouldn't have done that. Seemed to encroach into the seated area for Sally. The top part of the top box was almost hitting her. And got the 1250. Everybody went, well, it's the same. It's not. She is super comfortable in the back of the 1250. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple of couples coming away on tours and stuff, and they've all said the same about the 13 compared to the 1250. Yeah, much preferred the 1250. Yep. For me, I mean, I've got my jigsaw thou. My mate Ollie was here yesterday, just doing the service on it, and she wasn't running quite right. She was just running a little bit weird. So it was to do with the throttle adjustment sensor, the throttle sensor, and a couple of the cylinders just had to be tweaked. The fueling in the cylinders, so he just Yoshi boxed it, and I can't wait to take that out, to be honest, because that's
brilliant.
I love riding that. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think I'm confident enough to. Well, I wouldn't take that on a tour with paying punters, but I wouldn't mind doing a trip myself. Just going away on a little, like a long weekend or something like that, a few days just on the bike myself and trying. So I'd be perfectly happy just with my GS. My Gixxer, Freudian slip. If I couldn't have a GS, I really like the M1000R. I loved the R1250R. Again, it's all Beamers here, isn't it? I love the Super Duke. I think the Super Duke R is just a fantastic machine. Never even ridden the 1390, but the 1290 was amazing for me. I liked the 1290 Super Adventure. I thought that was awesome. Ducatis, they were great, but ridiculous money. I wouldn't pay that amount of money for the big bike. Don't really know if that's about it, really.
Have you ever ridden
just with my Gixxer?
Yeah. I, at one point, for a second bike, obviously where Richard and Carol, they have two separate bikes, so they ride solo. If I'm riding with Sally, she's on the back of the bike. So I have to think of a pillion. But if I was being really selfish and I was going to ride a bike by myself, FTR 1200 Indian. Ride one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. What a hoot. They're a lot of fun. Yeah. They're I rode one once on a test, and I've wanted one ever since. But I've just been told no.
I took out, is it the Dark Chief or the Chieftain, the Indian? I took one of them out, big cruiser, and for the first 20 minutes, half hour, I absolutely loved it to the extent where I was thinking, oh wow, I think this is a bit me. This could be in my garage.
All right.
But then it was like a switch went, and my lower back just started spasming. I was in agony.
Ooh.
But then, to be honest, it did that the first time I moved from the Gixxer to I had a Triumph to begin with, the first 1200 Tiger Explorer. When I first moved to an upright bike, my back was killing me. So I suppose I'd probably just get used to it, I imagine.
Yeah.
But that engine's amazing. That big thumping Indian engine is absolutely stunning. Loved it. A lot of fun. Right, next one, Jim McMeekin. Looking forward to this one. I met Murt at the deer statue in the Picos a few years back, and he was kind enough to give me a mention and a brief appearance in his video of that tour. Oh, it's not a question, he's just saying. So, yeah.
Bless him.
Jim McMeekin. Remember him?
I do. So that was when I went to the Picos that time, and I was desperately trying to find your sticker or Richie's sticker. I actually found Bandit Man UK's sticker at the deer, and I just wanted to kind of go, look, I found your sticker, and then apply mine. Was and
people normally put their sticker over the top of mine, or like I know Andy's done it. He's taken a sticker off and put his sticker on there.
Oh, is he?
But but sticker. I find stickers don't tend to last too long. We go back to the same places a lot of the time on the tours, and stickers have gone.
Yeah. So I was amazed.
Sorry, go on.
I obviously went to the Picos, went to the deer, and it was somewhere that I kind of wanted to go. And there was obviously bikes coming in, but you've done that ferry crossing from Portsmouth to Santander, and I met kind of 4 or 5 bikers on the ship, and we had beers and had chats and stuff like that. But every single biker that turned up to the deer they'd all been on that boat. Where they'd been on that boat, I had no idea, because I didn't see them. But when I got to the deer, I've just got off the boat. Yes, so have I.
It's a conveyor belt, isn't it? Conveyor belt.
Yeah.
We do Plymouth to like Santander or Bilbao now, just because it's a one-night crossing. Portsmouth's 2 nights now, so we just do the one night from Plymouth, and then we come back to Portsmouth. It's just the times that they sail. They're pretty much the same, almost the same length in time, but it's just...
It's 33 hours, isn't it?
No, the Plymouth one, I think, is something like 26 hours or something, or 23 hours or something like that. I can't remember. But it sails at like 1 or 3 o'clock. No, is it 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Whereas the Portsmouth one doesn't set off till like 9:30 at night. Yeah. So it just means, although the crossing's similar in time, you end up doing 2 nights with the Portsmouth one. Yeah. So we do Plymouth, Spain, and then Spain, Portsmouth coming back.
I like that crossing. The tune. I do, because I never relax. I never ever relax. I always have to be doing something. So that crossing forces me to do all, and you can fill in the blank. And I brought my guitar, and I thought I'll find a quiet spot on the deck, and I'll play guitar, and I could hear an accordion playing, and they'd obviously sat in the sun. And they had an audience, and I thought, I'm not going to compete with the guy, so I put the guitar away. And I went round, and someone said, oh, you've got a guitar. And I ended up playing with the guy who was supposed to be entertaining the audience. That was quite nice.
Brilliant. That's awesome. Nice one. Yeah. Did you see Richie Vida's video? Because he was on the crossing, and they do like a karaoke thing there. So obviously, Rich had to get up and start singing. And
good lad.
Brittany Ferries use it in their promotional stuff now.
Right. So they had a girl. Really well. They had a girl singing and doing a quiz when I was on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Same one. Yeah.
And bless her, she was all right. But I think when she heard me singing on the deck with the guy playing the accordion, she wasn't best and praised. She wasn't best pleased. Bless her. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were good as gold. They were the ones that dragged Richie up and
really,
filmed.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Brilliant, great time. Right, last one, John Tinkler. These podcasts are just. Oh, thank you very much. I don't think this is a question. Sorry, Matt. He just says podcasts are brilliant. Thanks for putting the hard graft into getting them on YouTube. My absolute pleasure, John. I get way more from doing these podcasts, I think, than a lot of other people do listening to them. It's my therapy. I really enjoy doing these. So thank you for listening. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
Mark, that is the questions.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with him. I think listening to Chris from 44 Teeth and some of the other people you've had, and I mentioned 2 of them earlier. Sally said this to me earlier. I think the reason there's so much mental health illness in men is because we don't talk. And I think the fact that you are talking to some of us, and we are clearly making videos of us talking, it's not a bad thing. I think it's a positive. So what you're doing is very, very positive.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's just normalizing it, isn't it? It's like, I think the more people talk about it, the more people realize, oh, it's not just me. I'm not the odd one out here when I'm thinking these things or feeling this way. Everyone does. Everyone's going through it. And, it affects some people more than it affects others. And some people deal with it. Other people don't deal with it. Yeah. It's just,
I mean, you need help. Social media, when you're presenting and you're doing something, you put in your best version of yourself. I certainly do. But these podcasts allow all of us to kind of go, right, well, we're not always like that. And that is a version of me presenting. That's not me. That's just a version of me. But,
See, I just, with me, what you see is what you get. I say what I think, and that's that. I just accept that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some people are going to like me, some other people aren't, and like whatever. I realize you cannot please everybody, and I'm not here to be a performing monkey. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do what I want to do and say what I want to say. I will be kind and courteous towards people, but I'll say what I think. I'll be diplomatic about it, but I'm just gonna be me. And if people like that, great. And if they don't, okay, there's plenty of other people out there for them to follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
just
totally how I am. Yeah. But
when I used to be on stage, and when you're on stage and you think you're dancing and you think you're kind of pulling some shapes, and then someone videos you, and you find that you're actually doing that. Yeah. So yeah, and like when I was doing my first pieces to camera, and I'd listen to my voice back, and I'm thinking, I don't actually sound that Irish. And even Dave Perry has said it on Really Good TV. He said, sounds more Irish than I do. But I've just kind of got, I came over to England when I was 17. I'm 57 now. You work out the maths. I've lived in this country a very long time. I've bound to have picked up. But when I go back to Ireland, they think I'm English.
Yeah.
Until
someone pointed out to me. Oh, go on. Sorry, there's a delay. There's like a second delay.
Until I start speaking Irish to them. And then it turns out some of the ones that think I'm English that can't speak Irish.
Someone pointed out to me the other, last year it was on one of the tours. They pointed out the fact that I've lived in England longer than I lived in Scotland. And that really cut deep. I was like, wow. Geez. Oh, yeah, right enough. Cool. Never mind. Dude, is there anything that we've not covered that you want to cover?
No. I think thanks ever so much, Bruce. It's
pleasure.
It's been it's been something that I've wanted to do for a while, but then I don't think I really had anything to talk about up until now.
Everyone's got a story, pal. Everyone has a story.
But I think the mission is something that I think is what's important to me, and it's all part of the whole mental health thing, and so. But no, I think we have covered it.
People can donate, can't they?
They can.
People can donate to the charity.
Yep. So the last update video. So because it's the time of year that it is, where I'm not getting out to do either a ride or a bike review as much. If there is a quiet week, I did one on week 12 weeks to go, and I did one last weekend. I did one at 9 weeks to go. So and each time I put the 2 QR codes. So Andy's got a QR code for Just Giving, and so have I. All of the money that you give to either Andy or myself all goes to the same place. We're just going to add the 2 numbers together at the end and work out, it's not going to be like, oh, Andy raised that and I raised that. It's no, we've raised. That's it. So yeah, if you go to my last video, the 2 QR codes are there.
I'll put all the links down below as well, folks. So check out the show notes and for this episode, and the links will be there for it as well. So it's for Mind Charity. Yep. It's 18th of April is the date you set off.
Yep.
Lovely job. Cool. Are you going to be doing like any live streams along the way, or social media along the way?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do Instagram. I'm on Instagram as the Mad Leprechaun. Obviously, I'm on Facebook as the Mad Leprechaun. I've also got got Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm all as the Mad Leprechaun. So if anybody wants to have a chat with me, they can contact me on there. I have got a raffle. Henry Cole, bless him, was very kind, and he gave me a tin, and he signed it. Skid signed it, and I've made a bit of a wash kit. Put a couple of bottles of wash and polish and some microfiber cloths, and I'm selling those for 10 quid a pop to get into the raffle to win it. And hopefully, if we sell all of the numbers, then hopefully we'll raise 500 quid on that. So if people want to buy a ticket or a number, they can contact me on Facebook on the Mad Leprechaun for that.
Is there a link that I can give people? They just click on the link, or do they have to physically drop you a line?
It's because I've got 50 numbers. You know what I'm like, Bruce. We struggled at the start of this podcast.
Hey, folks, you would not believe. I mean, we were half hour into this podcast before we
2 or 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I will leave all the details down below, folks. Mark's channels, his social media, the Just Giving links for Mark and Andy, they'll be down there. So yeah, contact Mark if you want to be part of the raffle for the Henry Cole Prize. And yeah, check out his channel, give him some support, and let's cheer the lads on the way when they do this challenge.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to following it.
Yeah, it should be good fun. Well, I say good fun. And now I'm actually I really am. It's been a long time in the kind of planning, and if I'm honest, I really can't wait to just get going now. It's just
yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Chomping at the bit.
Look forward to seeing the finished result then when it's done and up.
That should be good. Yeah.
Cool.
Right,
folks. Listen. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Oh, this blooming delay. This delay is terrible. It's not normally this long. Right. Feels like you're in Timbuktu.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I'm only in Braintree. Yeah, listen, thanks ever so much for everything, Bruce. I've really enjoyed it. And pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure, man. Always good to chat with you, Mark. Always good. Folks, hope you've enjoyed this one. Make sure you give Mark and the boys a bit of support along the way. And keep doing your thing. Get on out there whenever you can. Look after those that you love, but live your life. I mucked that up again. I keep mucking it up. Right, I'll do that.